Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Town of Lakeville Open Space Committee meeting, Thursday, October 3rd, 2024, 6 p.m. at the Lakeville Senior Center. All committee members are present. Myself, David Zolonis, Bob Wilson, Liz Nash, Debbie Boyadjian, Joan Gladwin-Morton, Brian Reynolds, and Lynn Morley. All are present. Lakecam is recording the meeting, and is anybody else recording?
No.
This meeting is now called to order. First item on the agenda is the review and approval of the September 5th meeting minutes. They did come out kind of late. Has everybody had a chance to review the meeting minutes? All right, any discussion on the meeting minutes of the September 5th meeting? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
Motion to approve.
A second?
Second.
Okay. The meeting minutes are approved. All right, thank you. Next is the committee updates, and on the Assawamsett Pond Complex, there's no new postings on the webpage. I did talk to Nancy Yates, and we exchanged contact information. So going forward, if there are any updates, I will get those. So there's no update tonight, but I set up the communication, and we will have more from the APC going forward.
The last date that they met was December 11th, 2019. At least,
Okay. Well, that's 5 years ago.
I don't think so.
no, you think they've met since then?
Oh, I know
Yeah.
they've met since then, because people were going to the meetings.
Yeah,
last year.
I'll get information on the next
Oh, okay.
meeting.
All right.
And I know she said we would all be invited to attend if we would like to attend.
All right.
And she was away at the time when I talked to her, but I will be talking to her again shortly, and I'll get information on any upcoming meetings and events.
I actually was walking at Betty's Neck this past weekend and ran into an APC staff person who said their next meeting is December 11th. Oddly, it's December 11th, 2024.
Okay, all right.
So,
All right.
if that,
No, that's good. We'll get, confirmation on it as well, and we'll get it, that's still, what's that, 3 months away or a couple
Okay,
months?
so
So
a couple
we've got time to prepare for that. So if, so when the meeting is December 11th, anybody is welcome to attend that meeting. And I will try to attend it myself at any rate to get in-person update.
You know where they meet?
Police station generally.
Okay.
But we'll have more information. By next meeting, we'll confirm it, where it is and what's going on. On the Conservation Commission update, they did, since the last meeting, they did have a new posting of their 9/24 agenda, and I think they do things a little differently. They put some of the meeting minutes at the bottom of their agendas, but the only thing, there's a lot, it seems like it's always busy at the Conservation Committee. The only thing of a lot of smaller items, of course, the Lakeville Hospital redevelopment is still, ongoing. And they have, the Twin Boys Industrial Park, which is, it seems like it's 2 and 4 Bedford Street on Route 118. It looks like it's in the priority development zone area, and they were talking about 4 commercial buildings with driveway, parking, and landscaping. And just of
is that
interest.
behind that greenhouse?
I don't know that, but it's 2 and 4 Bedford Street.
2 and 4.
Yeah, so it's still in the planning phases now, but if anybody
Oh,
wants to check it out, 2 and 4 Bedford Street. And I'm just looking at what they post on their webpage, so it's hard, and I'm not familiar with a lot of these properties, so I'm not sure if any, I try and pick out things that look like bigger projects to share with the committee, but definitely feel free to go on their webpage, there's a lot of activity. Let's see, and then we've got the Historical Commission.
Well, of course, we plan to do the cemetery tour in the spring. I've been working on a talk to be done on Lakecam on Lakeville as a recreational area. And that'll be recorded and eventually get aired on the Lake Cam system.
Sounds pretty good. I know this was a big recreational area back over the
Yes.
years.
Yes, there's a lot of history involved.
Yeah. Very nice. Right. The Community Preservation Committee, Liz, are you on that yet?
I am on it, and just as I missed this meeting last month, I also had to miss that one. I'm sorry, work was something I had to pay attention to.
Okay. Any updates other than the fact that you're now on the committee?
No, I'm a little confused, actually. I watched the open space meeting, last meeting
Yep.
on Lake Camp, but could not find the CPC meeting. I don't know if that was operator error or something else, so I was actually gonna ask to see if they know.
All right, well, I'm sure when you get up to speed, they should be there, right?
But one thing about that, though, has anybody noticed the sign on the Thompson Hill Cemetery?
Thompson Hill. Let me jump in. The project at Thompson Hill is done. They put the 2 tablstones back
Yeah.
up, and they took 2 headstones that were out at their bases and 2 footstones that were out at their bases, cleaned them and put them back in their bases. So that project is actually done. I'm about to submit the final project to
Right.
CPC.
And there's a sign now as you drive by that says that the CPC
Right.
paid for
So that project
Paid
is
for
done.
those fixes, those upgrades. So that's a good thing.
It's a success.
Yeah, exactly, and
Yeah.
showing folks that that's where their money's going.
Did you go in and look at the tablestones?
You can see them when you're driving
they're
by. It's pretty
beautiful.
cool. They're pretty neat.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Anything else on the updates? I think that covers it. Okay. Next agenda item is the update on the tracking of the Chapter 61 properties.
I have was chasing people for the 61 projects. And finally, I called the select board and the town administrator, and finally I got the list. It doesn't look anything like the list we had before. And I'm gonna print it because apparently if you have 6 or 7 pieces of property that used to be listed as one, now they're listed 3.2 acres, 1.6 acres, so we have to total them all out. So that's my next project. But
Even though they're adjacent?
yes, even though
properties,
they were adjacent, but this is, send these around, this is, 1, 2. I know we were
How many you
talking,
got of those, John?
we were talking about, the different projects and, you know, some 10 acres, I noticed them in this one last one, 10,
Right.
5, and how they renew.
Mhm.
So we'll keep an eye on this, and by the next meeting, I should have everything totaled out. And the last, when I was working on the plan, we had 2,853.13 acres in chapter land, 122 properties, 22 in forest land for 656.7 acres, agriculture 1,555.65, and 85 parcels, and in recreation 640.78 acres in recreation land. And that's 15 parcels. So the new list, I will total them out. And I think we need to keep an eye on this because we don't always find out when they're coming out of chapter land.
Yeah, so all the ones, 61A and 61B are all 1 year, they renew every year, October 1st.
Yes, and
right?
forest is, and it's 10 years.
Yeah, all of forest is 10 years, chapter 61. Okay. And so now you do have a complete list that you got?
I do now.
A listing of the
I
properties?
do, I got it last week.
And does it identify the properties by, and tie them to a map, like a parcel ID number?
It tells you where they are, but it doesn't, we don't have a map. But
Okay.
but we do have the map that we had last year in the open space plan, and I can find it and send it to everybody.
Okay, that would be good. So that map has parcel identification numbers, or?
It doesn't, but it doesn't break it down by parcel, but it breaks it down by areas of protection. So it's,
Yeah, I know we're gonna discuss this later.
yes, we're
but
gonna
this
discuss,
here,
yeah, I brought,
so,
yeah, I
yeah,
brought this
which
too.
is the hazard protected areas and
Right,
development areas.
right.
So the map that you're talking about?
Is a little different than this one.
And who generated that map?
It's a Serped map,
Okay, yeah. And this is also,
yes. This is also a Serpent
So
map, but it's a
it's-
different one,
And so they have a different use? Or-
different use.
Okay, this was,
But this is actually attached to the rail corridor maps. This is the last time we had one of these, it said the 2024 priority areas. This will end up being part of the South Coast Rail priority data. Because I was trying to find the old one online last night, but this supplants it. But if you look in here, it talks about 2024 versus 2013.
right,
And the open space plan that we have now is all the 2013 information, because 2024 is in the draft because it hasn't been approved by Serpent and the town. So,
okay. So even the new open space plan that's in approvals right now has
as the 2013,
yeah.
because this just came out when
Yeah.
you sent it.
Yeah.
So,
And it's still in draft.
it's still in draft. So, it's kind of too bad.
All right, excuse me, we have a visitor here who is,
Yeah, hi, John Gregory from Barkelly Road. I'm really interested, Joan, in getting a copy of these lists or having you all post these lists on your committee's website to make it public information.
well,
Can you do that?
what we're trying to do is put the list together right now. It hasn't really been together for a while, so.
The chapter land
Yeah, the
list?
chapter,
Yeah.
yeah, chapter land list. So what Joan is saying, she's gonna have it ready for, next meeting. And as far as accessibility, it is public information. Where would that list reside?
Chapter land,
Yeah,
the assessor's office.
so the assessor's office has the full list, and that's where you got it.
That's where I got it.
And so, what we're gonna do with the list, to use it for our purposes, identifying, possible outreach programs and things like that. So, we know if anybody, so it's not posted online anywhere.
It's not posted at
It's
all.
not online. Do we know if somebody can go to the assessor's office and ask for a list? Is that something they would hand out? You could ask at the assessor's office for that.
I mean, it took me forever to get it from the assessor's office.
Yeah.
So
You can only get it from one person in the assessor's office.
And now why are you looking for this information?
Because it's important information.
It is important
Well, it is.
information.
And particularly the next agenda item, 30 Howland Road.
Yep.
Right?
That's the other reason why I'm here is get a status update.
Mhm. Yeah,
And that- 'cause-
we will be discussing that
okay.
as an agenda item. As far as, we're still not clear on what the accessibility of the chapter 61 lists are gonna be.
Can I interrupt
Yeah.
you? I'm so sorry. So, a few years ago, what year was it? A couple of years ago, when Joan came back on the board, Adam Young was the chair. And every time a piece of property was coming up for development, the planning board would put the plans into the open space mailbox. And Adam would get these. And then Adam left, and Amy Knox came on as the chair, and we never saw another set of plans, except that were coming from Mark, blanking on his last name, right, the town planner.
Yeah, Resnick, yeah.
And so he would come and he would bring maps occasionally about other things, and he was very helpful. He hooked us up with a lot of different organizations and representatives, and he had some ideas about how to help with open space. But there was some disconnect, because the Open Space Board is always supposed to be told when a piece of property comes out of Chapter 61. That was supposedly, in my head, over the time that I've been on this committee, what always happened. So when I saw that 30 Howland came out of Chapter 61 a year ago, because you said in the last meeting the sale was August 12th, I was shocked. And so there's some disconnect that's occurred over the last couple of years. I don't know if it's because the open space plan wasn't finished yet. And that's what, with Amy, we were really concentrating on getting that plan.
No, I think
finished.
we still should have gotten the information. If the land was coming out of chapter land, we still should have gotten it.
Well, it always
Yeah.
We
had.
always had in the past.
Right.
And that would have to come from the assessor's office, wouldn't it?
So I don't know, again, it may be no one's fault, oversight, disconnect, changing
There's some kind of
people
there's some kind of
changing
disconnect.
in positions or something,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's not supposed to be chased. I mean, you
Yeah,
have to chase the tax assessor at this point in time for a complete list of lands that are in chapter 61, because the town hasn't been electronically as organized about these things as perhaps they
Correct.
could be. And,
That's correct.
and they're moving forward on that. Because this has been really high on my priority
Yeah,
list
yeah.
while I've been on this committee, and getting it on our website, actually, so people could actually see what's going on in
now,
town with
do you
open
think that would be
space.
a good place to post it on our webpage?
So,
Would it be
well,
allowed?
my personal, I mean, again, when Adam was the chair, yes, we had a goal that all of the maps of the open spaces in town would be available to, because we've moved from being a paper-driven world to being an electronic world. And you can Google almost anything, and then all of a sudden you can't find something online, and you get pretty
I mean, I spent
frustrated.
hours last night looking for the 2013 priorities.
Right.
I couldn't find it.
Well, no,
Every
'cause you
time, every
gotta
time,
have
every
that
time you click
book.
on it, it sends you to the new draft for 2024.
Right, I gotcha.
Excuse me, back up just a second. As far as chapter 61 properties and the procedure for the town, when I was looking into the 31 Howland status, under the select board webpage, down the left-hand side, there's at the very, very bottom, there's select board policies. Click on that. One of the policies that was written in May of 2023 is how the town processes chapter 61 properties. So a suggestion might be, this committee, look at that policy, see if it's valid for the needs that y'all are expressing, and then revise it with the select board.
Is that the one you sent me?
Yep, that's
Yeah.
exactly the one
Yeah,
that
so
I
we-
sent Dave
we did
before
look
this
at it,
meeting.
but- and, you know, it covers, you know, first right of refusal laws and all that, and we'll get the 30 Howland later, which has gone beyond that, but I think right now we're discussing the chapter 61 list of properties, and I think it would be great if everybody had access to it. If we could put it on our webpage, would be good. I don't, if that's,
I also
acceptable
don't know
to
if that's a invasion of other people's
Yeah,
privacy,
yeah.
because it is,
so,
it's their personal land
Yeah.
that they've put into a tax
right.
situation. So I'm not entirely sure if that's something
Yeah,
you
we're-
can slap up on a website and
Yeah,
everybody in the
we're,
world can look
you
at.
know.
I mean, the
we-
list I have is really comprehensive and has people's addresses.
Right.
So we'd have to
Yeah.
obviously amend it because we're not gonna put people's addresses.
Yeah,
on-
and, you know, we're
on the
town
town
employees
website, right.
and have access to it. That's why I don't know what's allowable to do. So as far as you having access to it, I don't know. You could go to the assessor's office today. We're gonna put a list together I would like our committee to have access to, because we're gonna use it for an outreach program and
Right.
to maintain the list so that we know, you know, the 61A and 61B, they renew every year. So October 1st comes, if they don't renew, we know they just came out.
That's right.
Chapter 61 are 10-year agreements. I think they're all 10-year. They don't have short ones. I'm not sure, but I think they're all 10 years. So once we have them on the list that they're in 10 year, we know when they're coming out, and we'll know when they renew. If they don't renew, we know they've come out and the town has a year. But again, it's if they sell it within a year. If they wait till after a year, then the town has no rights. But anyways, we're putting that list together, and once, so you're saying you need, for next meeting, you
I'll
have
try
a
to
complete
write it for the
listing?
next meeting, because I'm gonna break it
You got
down.
it, yeah. And so that's all chapters 61, 61A, 61B, and, let's see, and what I'd like to look at is, you know, when we're looking towards the outreach, is maybe prioritize them by parcel size. So I don't know if that works into your databases. You can, the largest parcels up top and come down. And so when we look at outreach programs, you know, obviously we'd go for the you know, bigger properties, or if we can cover them all, we will. But it sounds like there are a lot of them. And that's chapter 61. Now, there's also conservation restrictions. Is there a list of those from, would that be it?
There's a list of conservation restrictions.
So we have that.
We have
already.
that.
And that's probably in our new plan that,
Yes, it
that's, but we can't really see the new plan yet till it gets released.
The new plan is supposed to go to this, I mean, I've turned it in.
Yeah.
It's getting formatted.
Yep.
So we're pretty
Yeah,
close.
it should be soon.
Should we do something about
It's supposed to be,
that?
it's supposed to be
We-
approved
poking
in
it.
October.
Yeah.
People.
in the-
Oh, by,
The select board.
but they have to get it, oh, so they have to approve it
They have to
October,
approve it
and then
before we can
goes
send
to
it
the
anywhere. Exactly.
state. And then the state has to approve it, or they send it
And
back
then-
with
right.
changes.
I mean, it will go to the planning board, it will go to Concom, it will go to historical commission.
After it comes back from the state or before?
Before.
Before. But they're supposed to approve it in October.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
And it's got the 2013.
I know it's on the select board, status of the open space plan is on the select board meeting for next week.
Agenda, okay, that's cool.
And I've been in the office talking to them about it,
There we
so.
go. God love you. You're awesome.
All done except references cited,
Great.
which I'm working on now.
Okay.
Everything else is turned in.
Right.
Yes, for this agenda item, which is chapter 61 properties, I was like, you have a complete listing, you're gonna put it into, what's
Some
the
form that will be useful to
in
us.
an Excel spreadsheet or something, and be available to the committee members how?
That's right.
Do you,
How will it be available?
I'm not sure yet.
As I said,
Because
it's
I
not.
have
it's
to,
not
I have to condense it
public
because
information.
they were like, if you had 5 pieces of property, some of them could be 61A and some of them could be 61B. Some of them could be 61, so we have to figure out how we're gonna break it down in
organize it,
this spreadsheet. I mean, I have a spreadsheet from the assessor's office, but it's not the spreadsheet that we need here.
Yeah.
Well, some of them have house lots. Some of the properties have house lots, so the house lot is actually on the list for 61A, but it says house lot next to it. So if you had 4 pieces of property and one of them was a house lot, you would have 3 pieces of chapter land and a house lot on the list that I got from the assessor's office. I have to remove the house lots from the list.
All right, so
I mean, some people have chapter land with 3 house lots, so it's house lot, house lot, house lot, but it's included in the number,
because it's
of total
under their
acres.
name.
right?
Because it's under their name.
Because
So
it's under
it's-
their name.
It's-
So I have to take the house lots out of the chapter land list.
Mm.
Okay, so now the list that you have now is after October 1st, so these are all the latest, that's the latest list, or
I
is
got
it
it in
from?
September.
So you got it in September, so we want to get another list after October 1st, because we can see who didn't
There is,
renew.
right,
Uh,
but you have 30 days from October 1st. If you don't file on time, you have 30 days.
All right, so maybe in November, we should get a new list. You broke the ground
Haven't
on how to
helped
get
me,
this
right.
list, yeah.
Yeah,
So
it
now
took you
you
a
know
year
how
to
to
get
get
this
this
one.
one.
I should live so long.
But if somebody doesn't renew, that November
Right.
list will tell us, so we
The-
need
the
we need
November
the
list will
November
tell us.
list, yeah. And for all those annual ones, every year, we should do this, get one, once we have the one in November, we just need November every
Okay.
year. And then we'll know when any of the one-year agreements are ending. So we can monitor those for sale and any opportunities. The 10-year, once, those are also on the list, and we'll have a date of expiration. So when looking at that list, we can see when that date of expiration is coming up. And there's a one-year period, if they don't renew, that is critical. So we'll be able to monitor that. So the use of that list, one use will be to monitor what's coming on and off, so that if we need to alert the board or something that some property is,
Of
changed.
interest, I
Yeah, of
suppose,
interest.
yeah. I mean, the priority, like you were saying, to, large pieces are important. It's gonna sound really strange. Large pieces can be important. They can also be parking lots.
Yeah, I think it is.
So
You-
not
you gotta-
necessarily looking at it by number, but,
Yeah.
I mean, if the open space plan could get really finished, and we could get it back in our hands so that we could actually understand it ourselves and use it as a living document, because it has lists of priority properties from 2013 through when we redid it. Priority properties, not just because they're large, but because they connect wildlife
Yeah.
Exactly.
areas.
Mhm.
So they're more valuable that way, or
Yeah,
they're,
but, and I know what you're saying,
Scenic
definitely, but I'm just
views.
saying as a way to look at them, okay, this one is higher priority because of this, but
no, right,
just
exactly.
a way to put the list together, I think
Yeah.
size might be a good way, because they're gonna come down fast, and they're all gonna be in there together, and there could be a section, a comment in there that it is, you know, adjacent to a
Right.
corridor or something.
And that's the pity about 13 Howland, is it backs up on the Fall River Freetown State Forest.
On the 30th.
And that's the pity, and 500 acres is a tremendous amount of
So-
space.
But I know a lot of these agenda items interrelate, but for the 61 update, you're almost there. You're gonna put a spreadsheet together and figure out how at least the committee can have visibility to it, or if we just get printouts, if it can't be posted anywhere, that's possible.
Well, I'll talk to them in the assessor's
And,
office.
yeah, as far
What
as.
we can share and what we can't.
Yeah, because there is private information there too, so we can't disclose any of that. We'll check into what is available, and you can, welcome to talk to the assessor's office, because they have the information. Okay. Any other discussion on the chapter 61 listing? I think Joan's got it almost together, and now we know how the cycle works, and we should be able to list together. So this item is maintaining that list and knowing if we need to take any action. We'll evaluate the properties as they come on. And that's what, five things get the list together, so thank you, John. All right, ready to move on? Okay, the discussion of the 30 Howland Road, 565 acre property status. All right, I had gone to the select board, you know, we heard about this a month or so ago. And I hadn't got any reply by email, so I stopped into the town hall today and talked to Tracy Craig McGee, who did send me to the assessor's office to find out, what was going on with the property. So 30 Howland had been in Chapter 61 under the 10-year contract. It came out on June 30th of 2023, so it was over a year ago. It wasn't renewed, so the town has right of first refusal on a purchase for 1 year after it's taken out. So that ended with June 30th of 2024. The property was sold on August 12th, 24. So it was sold after our Lakeville town right of refusal was expired. And that's what I was informed at the assessors today. So the developer that bought it, he said right now they are a developer that has worked with the town before, and right now they're in conversations with the different boards, the town of Lakeville boards that are applicable, planning board and so on how they're gonna develop the property that is more agreeable to the town. They know it's a touchy situation. They're probably not likely to do anything right away, but they did buy it to develop it, and right now they own the land. There may be, he said, if there's a zoning change, there would be back taxes would be due, but we have no right of first refusal to purchase. If we'll have to see how those discussions go. And from an open space standpoint, we can contact the developer and say, these are your options if you want to conserve, but obviously you want it to develop. So I don't know how far that's going to go, but maybe he would be willing to sell a portion of the property, or if not all of it, because it is adjacent to conservation land now. So that's the update. Before I call you, is any comments from the committee members here? Any comments or questions?
Well, yeah, I always have something to say, don't I? Just to make us all feel a little less bad about this, I suspect, where would this town come up with the money to buy 500 acres
Yeah,
worth of land?
it was
I mean,
5.5 million was the sale price.
5.5, yeah. I mean, we would have needed a lot more
Yeah,
than 1 year's notice to
Well,
be able
yeah,
to put
it's not-
together a deal.
Sometimes the state can get involved, or conservation.
Well, like Betty's Neck, but,
Yeah.
again, that takes a lot more than a
Yeah.
year to try to put together something like that.
Yeah, I guess the landowner was not required to notify the town after a year.
Right.
So,
Well,
They
no,
didn't.
Yeah, well, yeah.
all right, that's
Exactly.
fine.
Look, your last statement that the landowner is not required to notify the town, the procedure, the policy that referenced earlier, does state that the landowner must send a notice of intent to the town within 1 year of taking it out of chapter protection, or
Well,
within the
let me
sale
just say
property.
that is, was issued in 2023. The contract on 30 Howland was over 10 years old. I don't know what the contract, what the policy of the town was then. What you're referring to was issued in 2023.
But the point is that at 2023, the landowner at the time, Francisca Realty Trust, according to the spreadsheet I got from Tracy, of chapter properties of 2022, that was the owner shown on that spreadsheet for that particular piece of land. Francisca Realty Trust. So my perspective and my suggestion is that when that owner did not renew in June of 2023, by law, they are required to send the town a notice of intent. Now, in emails with Dave Golden at the Assessor's RRG, he said he didn't get one, a notice of intent. Therefore, the select board wasn't informed, and maybe this committee also wasn't informed of the non-renewal, and therefore the property coming out of protection. Now, that notice of intent then triggers the select board voting whether or not to exercise the right of first refusal.
Right.
And since the notice wasn't sent, my question to Dave back in probably middle of August, so what happens when the landowner doesn't send the legally required notice of intent? He said, well, I can't answer that, take that up with town council or select board. Tried to raise that up to the select board, they keep saying, go talk to the assessors. Well, that's not the point. The point is was that sale in August legal, even when the town didn't get their legal right of first refusal?
Right.
Me as a citizen, I feel like I've been cheated out of something.
Yeah,
But to your point, that where would we come up with the money? Well,
Yeah.
you know, it's not necessarily the point. The issue is the law
No,
as
yes.
stated in
Yeah.
chapter.
Well, is the select
state
board
law.
and the legal counsel have looked at the law. And I don't totally understand the law. I'm not in this business, but I think after a year, within that year, they have to do the letter of intent. If he didn't put it up for sale till after the year, I think there's different things apply. And I'm not an expert on it, but the select board and the legal counsel are the ones that would know. And if anything was done illegally to sell the property without giving the town, first right of refusal, then they would know and they should take action. So, but they know what the facts are and what the laws are.
Okay, well,
And we were not notified, Open Space Committee wasn't, and we were just caught by surprise in August when the sale went through.
right. Okay, well, get with the select board then.
Yeah, and I may do some follow-up myself as well, but right now, that's what I got from the assessor's office today.
Okay.
That, they're working with the town to make as good a development as possible. The other options, we can still look into. And if there's any legal issues, I think they would have identified them by now, but it's definitely worth getting confirmation on.
There should be a red flag that goes.
Yeah, it does, even if maybe we could have done it, we should have had an option on it, but it wasn't. It's not the way it happened.
What a shame.
You're welcome. Anyway, unfortunately, that's where that is, and I'm sure we will hear more about it now. I will do asking some more questions.
Did you mention that, did you just say that they're gonna look into it to see if this was a legal sale?
Well, I mean, that's, what our visitor was asking, and I had the same thoughts, so I think everybody has the same thoughts, but we don't know the law, and that's why we have legal counsel and the select board. They get together and did this sale follow, legal requirements. It sounds like it probably did, unfortunately, for the town, and like I said, we may not have been able to do anything anyways, so.
Well, I gotta try to make myself feel better.
Yeah, I
mean,
know.
it's $5 million, but we have, in this committee, we have talked about that piece of property almost every year.
And it's
Because it was the biggest, I don't know if it's the
green
biggest.
spot on the
Yeah,
map.
right, and because of where it is.
Yeah, it's
It backs
surrounded
up
by-
against the state park.
Yeah.
So we could have asked we could have had the opportunity of going to the state and saying, are you interested in making this space even larger? You know, they might have been interested. It had more believability or whatever to other organizations that they might want to contribute to save it because it's right next to a state park.
I think probably the select
So
board is probably the, you know, if there's any chance of maybe going, it looks like if it is a legal sale, but anything, talking with the developer of either buying all or part of it by the state or something, is he open to that? I mean, there's still options at this point. It hasn't, nothing's been
It's
done.
not a
with it
done
yet.
deal yet?
I mean,
Yeah, I
the
don't-
sale is a done deal.
Right. Well, I don't know if,
Yeah.
can a sale be negated if they didn't follow the
Right.
correct procedure?
Yeah, if they didn't, it could, yeah, it would go, you know.
You know?
So, I mean, yeah, there's still that option open, but if you make the assumption that it was legal, and then it's, you know, negotiations from there.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, would have been better.
Again, to make us all feel a little better, because I had to really work at making myself feel better. It's 500 acres, but the state park is 5,000. So when you look at the 5,000 acre state park and this piece that is coming out, which it's a beautiful piece, I drove by it yesterday, the day before.
1/10.
Right, it's exactly.
Right.
Exactly, it's 1/10, and there's other areas in this town where we might, that aren't so expensive, that because they're in other areas, maybe they're equally as valuable in that we're creating a space somewhere other than right there, which has 5,000 protected acres already.
Mhm.
You know, so just, you know, that's our mission, is to try to,
I don't know, but again, it's becoming a overly developed area with all the school systems there.
Well, and then the Rocky Woods.
And you get this on the other side,
I know.
it's gonna be a mess, if that all happens. So, and you can see why everybody is gonna be
Well,
upset about it.
yeah, oh yeah, you know.
And, you know, we are, so.
Well, you know, so, I'm talking a lot, but so that was horrifying. And then I'm driving through town and I'm finding all these other pieces of property that the trees are all getting torn down and they're pulling out all the good soil and they just destroy these pieces of property that they, there's no contract in the world who's gonna like me. They just
Yeah.
destroy these pieces of property that they develop, take every piece of money out of it. But I don't remember hearing about any of those either, which is why I go back when, a couple of years ago, we used to get the plans from the planning board every time when somebody was
Maybe-
put in the plans to develop a
Yeah.
piece of property.
Well, I think
And I don't know why
that
that stopped.
policy that was updated in 2023 that you sent me, that the visitor
The
brought up.
chapter stuff, that's
Yeah.
the chapter 61
I think a
stuff,
lot of
but-
that was updated because of some of these issues. You can see that really had
Very
very
well
good
be right.
notifications within that policy.
Right.
And
So, is there a mailbox or something for the open space at the town hall? That they're supposed to be putting these plans in? Because Adam used to say he got them from town hall.
There's never anything in there's never anything in the mailbox at the town hall.
Well, maybe we need to talk with the planning board or something, or the zoning board, and be like, you know, we'd
Yeah, I
like to be
think,
kept
well,
up.
I
You
follow-
know, we're chasing after this, and we're not looking so great to the townspeople.
We used to have
That we
these
don't seem to be in
giant
front
plans
of
that
us.
were this big.
Yeah,
Do you remember them?
exactly.
Pages and pages and
I mean, and they're
pages.
annoying as hell, I
Yeah.
realize, but, But at least
I'll
we-
follow up with Tracy on the
That-
mailbox and on getting plans and try and connect, maybe, I don't know, the select board, whether it's through their next meeting, if I.
I don't think
on
it's
their
the
agenda.
select board, I think it's the planning board and the zoning board. Because when you go to develop a piece of property, you have to submit plans to the planning board and to the zoning board.
Yeah.
You know, intent plans and then more and more complicated plans as you
I
go
mean, were you on
forward.
the open space committee when we would get the plans and we'd say, well, we want you to put this kind of tree here because they'll grow at a particular.
Not that
I
far
mean, Mike
back.
Schroeder was big on
Yeah,
that.
well, and that's,
And doing things that were environmentally
well, and that's, you know.
correct for borders and everything.
Well, yeah, and that's that's an ideal too, if these developers are willing to, the people, I hate to say this, but it's true. The people who are developing the hospital property have been more than willing to work with folks who are concerned about the conservation of the
Yeah.
native species, et cetera, in the area. And
And it
if
looks
we
like
can get
that's
them
gonna
all
be
to
a
do
plus,
that,
yeah.
that'd be huge, you know.
And, supposedly this developer is talking to, it's probably the planning board and zoning board and all.
Right.
Just, in the thought stages of what they want to do with the property, that will be more agreeable with the town.
Yeah, more palatable
Yeah,
maybe is
that's the word, yeah. But it would be development, but it's gonna take years and years and, but it's still an open topic. We can, later on, when plans come out, definitely inputs on layouts and all that stuff, but right now, in this early part, maybe there is something between the legality and the,
Right, yeah.
get them to
Well,
sell
that-
part of it or something, we'll see what the options are.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can follow up, but it's, and if anybody has any suggestions, be happy to have some help with that, but I will try. All right, anything else on 30 Howland? It's, I think we will continue discussion on it next month. I'll see what else I can find out next month, because if anything's gonna happen significant, it's gotta be done fairly quickly. Otherwise, it's just gonna be, make the plan as good as we can, and I think we may already be there, but
Right.
we can find out now. Okay? Item 6 on the agenda is the possible participation in the Neighborhood Outreach Project Grant Program. Now, that's, we're using the Chapter 61 list and that, so we can identify which landowners to go to an outreach. So once we have that, and we can discuss the other outreach projects we looked at, usually they had a 10-acre and above they use for their mailing list, just.
Right.
But I mean, we can do something different if it makes sense. But I mean, as a first pass, if we prioritize them by acre size and see how many we got. If we got, if you're gonna do a mailing and there's 50 of them, 100 of them, or 150 of them, have to decide what makes sense. When we look at the list of the properties. So I don't know if you get that list together, a spreadsheet that maybe you can hand out here to the committee. We don't know about posting things yet, so the committee, we could look at that.
So there were 122
That's the total.
parcels in
Yeah,
chapter land
okay.
Altogether,
Yeah.
altogether.
Joan?
22 in forestry, 85 in agriculture, and 15 in recreation.
The recreation doesn't even, what does that mean? Is that like
That means,
the baseball field?
recreation means you keep your land open, but you don't farm it, you don't forest it,
Right.
but you protect nature, you protect animals, you protect,
Oh.
And it's open to the public.
it's not open to the
Not
public.
open.
No, it doesn't have to be. Passive or recreational use, forest management, optional.
Okay.
But if we get the list, categorize them, decide whether. if we
Land
want to-
mostly natural, wild, or open, or used for an approved recreational use.
Is that Betty?
Posting allowed under natural, wild, or
No.
open categories. Posting may be allowed under the recreation category, and it doesn't have to be open to the public.
Now what about something like Ted Williams Camp and John Pond? Are those?
They belong to the town,
Yeah,
so
Yeah,
they're
they
not
belong to- I was
chapter
about to say the
land.
same thing, they
Oh.
belong to the town, yeah. So this is, if a private owner
Private
owns
owners,
5 acres, then they're just not
Right,
messing with
exactly.
it, they're not farming it.
right.
Because forestry usually kind of means you're cutting the trees and selling them. You've got a,
Or it could just be forest, you're not touching.
I don't know, maybe,
Yeah.
but, yeah, so that's kind
I
of
think-
natural, wild or
Far
open.
less restrictive than the others.
Far less, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, I know it was a lot of work to put the detail into that list, but if you get it before next meeting and even, maybe email it to the committee ahead of time so we can look it over, we can discuss it at the next meeting. And under this neighborhood project, look at sets criteria, because do we want to do 50 mailings, 100 mailings, 122 mailings? Because to go get town approval for the money, reimbursement from the
grant program.
the grant program, there's a bit of work, so you kind of probably want to do
Right,
it
and
once
then-
and get it through in one
Right, I mean, another thing to look at is people who have a lot of acreage who aren't in chapter land.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
At 58 acres,
Yeah.
but it's not in chapter land.
yep.
It says a CR on it, but
Yeah,
but
so
it's
that's-
not in
that's
chapter.
You
probably
don't
even
have your
more-
land in chapter land? Wow, really?
No?
Wow.
That, yeah,
Nope.
so that's even more important because people that aren't in it might
Have a
not
lot of
even
land,
know
but
about
it's-
it.
exactly.
Or to take advantage, so even though the ones in
Huh.
chapter 61, yeah, we need that list of the parcels that
Mm.
are, have the open land but aren't in chapter 61. That's even more important.
It is.
That's another question for the tax assessor,
Mm.
right?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure I'm gonna put all that together.
Mm.
I mean, but we need the chapter 61 properties just for the maintenance of that. But yeah, there's, so to get to this neighborhood outreach project, yeah, the chapter 61, yeah, there's secondary to actually the ones that aren't in it.
Kinda.
We'll have to figure out how to put that list together. No, the maps that are available to us, Joan, I think you're probably most familiar with those. What, are there maps that will help us with that besides the assessor's map?
I think so. I think when Mark Resnick used to come, he brought a lot of maps and
Yeah,
he
a lot
gave
of
them to all of us, remember?
Yeah.
All
So
the
there's
open,
em-
and remember he had those giant maps that he put together?
Yeah.
And they were
Yep.
the size of this table?
Yep.
And we looked at them all to see what we thought would be priority and what
Yep.
we thought we should protect.
Yep.
Have to find those and bring them. Well, I mean, they were as big as the table for the entire town.
So that was on paper.
Well,
Of course,
because we
they're
don't have
probably-
we don't have a way, electronic way to like communicate with
We
each
don't,
other
yeah.
here. I mean, there's a big TV
Yeah, of
on
course.
this thing and we were.
You know, that map would be dated now at this point, but probably
Or-
still a lot of good
But it was still a lot of
yeah.
information on it.
Right.
Because he was gonna try to make contiguous pieces of land
Well,
throughout
right.
town.
Exactly.
So that's why we put them all together.
Because people, when they see that they can walk on a contiguous piece of land, it sounds more useful too, more, worthy of being left as open space because it's also something people can visit, like Betty's Neck, or,
Right, so I don't know if you can find something like that, but so we got the assessors map, we got the spread map, that the draft, which is up to date there, and maybe
I
crossing
mean,
the
a
two.
lot of these maps are in the open space plan. So I can get them out of the open space plan because I had to have them to put
Okay.
them in.
Yeah, you can get those, because as you look at the open space plan, they're just pictures.
Right, because the maps correspond to the section.
But yeah, if we have links to those maps, if we can analyze those, but I know we'd have to do that, not here, because we don't have electronic access here.
yeah, I don't know. If we worked hard enough at it, I bet we could figure it out. But
But,
have you ever looked at a Massachusetts.gov GIS map?
I know I tried to look at some maps online, I'm not sure which ones.
Yeah, so the MassGov GIS map, you can beam right down into Lakeville, you can open this up, and you can,
What kind of information does it give you?
you can see the open space that's saved by other organizations, et cetera. It's got a lot of, it's an extremely powerful tool that's so powerful it's hard for me to explain it to you. And you do need to, when you hit the first page, they give you some, this is how to use it. Take a moment and read that, because it's going to make it a much more valuable experience for you, because there's layers to the map that you can add and take
I was just gonna
away.
ask you what was the layer map?
Yeah, it's a layer
Yeah.
map.
So what is the site again?
It's mass.gov's GIS map. So literally you go in Google and you say
Yep.
Massachusetts GIS map, it's gonna, mass.gov GIS map's gonna come up and you can
Yeah,
click on
I
it.
think I
and-
think I did,
F as in Frank.
and I don't know if,
I'm sorry?
F as in Frank, GIF.
No, GIS, Global Information System, I
Yes.
believe, global something, I think.
I'm
I
sure
don't
we can
actually know
find
what it stands for.
All right, I'll take a look at that. Any other maps available to everybody online?
Well, Adam again had access to an Audubon map that he shared with us, because Audubon does the same thing. I'm sorry I know so much stuff, but you've been on for a little while and we've been focused on the plan. But Audubon also has a map that's a GIS map where they have, maybe it's the Serpid map. Serpid may be using the Audubon map, Audubon might be using the Serpid map. but you can add and take away layers so that it shows you where wetlands are,
Okay.
or
So
where
you got the
stuff like
Serpent
that.
map, you got the-
Endangered species areas where they've found endangered species and they're trying to rare plants, stuff like that, goes on forever.
And Joan, the ones that are in the plan are, where are those maps? They're online.
Watershed maps, priority areas maps, open space maps,
Yeah.
vernal pool
So,
maps.
but the open space and priority maps, are they the same as the spread, or are they different ones?
They're different.
And where are they located online?
Excuse me?
Where can you find those online?
Does Serpent
I
have?
find them all on mass.gov
All on the mass.gov?
or Nature Conservancy.
Yep,
They have a lot of maps too.
Major?
And Serped has maps.
Nature
Nature
Conservancy.
Conservancy.
Nature.
Because most of our maps came from Nature Conservancy and Serped.
Okay. All right, so we got mass.gov, Audubon, Nature Conservancy, and Serped. We can look at the maps, and then try and identify properties that, because if they're not on the 61 list, we know they're
Right, well,
not
that's
on
it,
because they're not on the list, because now we'll have a list. So there's a lot of information to put together just to, to get this program together, so,
It's a learning curve.
yeah.
It's definitely a
So-
learning
I
curve.
mean, and we don't have a chapter 61 list because, I mean, some of them are just 5 acres here, 5 acres here, but we do not have a chapter land map,
Not map.
and it changes all the time.
Well, then that's why we don't have one. 'cause
Exactly, it changes all the time.
They're not gonna make they're not gonna make a static map of something that changes every October
Exactly.
1st.
Well, I know the assessor's map had only one, when I clicked on a lot of the properties, and only one of them listed as chapter 61.
Right, right.
And nothing else did.
It's not surprising. Well,
So
I mean,
it hasn't really been populated with that information, the
Yeah.
assessor's map.
no, well, they're not.
Yeah, maybe it's
Focused on that.
not public information, I guess. I don't know.
Well, then,
Anyways, let's check the maps. I think I'm gonna hold off another month contacting Sarah Wells to see if they're renewing the program, because we're not ready.
yeah.
Anyway, so give her another month, because she talked probably October she'd be, know whether they were gonna go ahead, and unless anybody knows already. I don't know. Haven't, I'm gonna give it another month, because let's get more information together and organize our property lists and our maps and know what we wanna go after, and hopefully we can tone it down a little bit, tune in on it, next meeting, so. And Joan, if you get something earlier on the list, email it, we can look at the
Sure.
list and study our maps.
I'll try to
and
find the
maybe-
maps and send them to everybody
Yeah,
too.
that'll be good, then we can come in next, we'll have a lot more information, we can maybe come up with a route plan. All right, anything else on neighborhood outreach? All right, let's see, the item 7, the open space committee town webpage update. I know some updates were made. I did go in and look at it today, and there's still a couple of things.
Is it still this one?
Something on the bottom.
Well, no, I think, well,
The
yeah, as
last
far as the
paragraph.
historical part, I don't think anything's been changed on the historical part. I think you're probably know best if there's anything you want to add. I know it's all good information there. Is there anything you want to add? And then there's some references that might have to be updated to years. And then on the webpage, I also noticed it still says the second Thursday of the month for the meetings, and it should be the first. Yeah.
I thought I fixed that. And it says town hall.
Well, that's
too.
what I checked today.
She did the left-hand side, but not in the last paragraph.
On the left, I think that's what I saw on the left.
Oh, really?
I just went in today and
Okay.
it's, you know.
Unless you change it again.
It had the right time and place, but it still said second
Oh,
Thursday.
okay.
So
Maybe
I
that's how we
think-
found us.
Yeah,
Thank God. Is that what-
Anyway, double check that,
Found
it
us,
should be
yeah.
first
Yeah, found us.
Thursday.
In the last paragraph, I think it says in the town hall, with our meetings in the town hall or
Oh,
something,
that's,
town building or
so
something.
is that in
In the
that
last
body of
paragraph,
text, yeah. So, Joan, I think you were gonna look at that and get an update to Tracy. If there's no other major accomplishments you wanna add to it, you know, the ones that are there are good. You know, and they don't come by every day, there's not that many opportunities. But if there's anything you wanna add
Okay.
from, that has occurred, that would be good. And then correct those
Okay.
those errors that are in there. And then the other thing was the open space plan update button. for 2022. You click on that and it still has obsolete information there. It's, you know, and everything's out of date, and I know it's gonna be late again, because those approvals are gonna take months, I think. You know, maybe get by the select board in October, but if all those other steps you gotta go through, it sounds like it could be a while till it gets released.
Well,
If I heard that right.
So that's the reason why that actually Amy and Joan like buckled down and got all of this done, was because the town's operating without an open space plan, which keeps us from being able to do things
Yep.
in town about open space. So
Right,
that's
yeah.
kind of that, yeah.
So we need to get it released. So who's, at town hall, who do you see as far as getting that through? Is that? Who's
I don't,
about that?
it's tough
For,
work.
for the open space
Yeah,
plan,
open space plan.
I'll give it to Tracy.
Tracy? Okay.
And now Kathy in the planning board office is, Tracy gave it to Kathy, and Kathy is giving it to someone who is in the select board's office, who is gonna format it for us
Yeah.
and get it ready to get.
Okay. Yeah, do you check in with Tracy once in a while to see how it's going? And,
I was in there the other day.
yeah, and so,
Yeah. And last night I emailed the appendices, so I think they have everything.
yeah, everything, so,
And I know they're planning to present it to the select board in October, so.
okay, so that's the next step.
Closer.
So it's
As
moving,
close
and
as
we'll
we
see.
can.
So they're gonna format it, they're gonna give it back to me, read one more time,
Right.
make sure that things that were supposed to be
Right,
taken
didn't
out are
get-
added,
Right,
because I know it by heart now,
I bet you do.
and then it's good to go.
All right, well.
They're gonna
just-
present it anyway, and then I'm just gonna read it.
Right. Well, right.
Okay. All right, so we'll just keep tracking that through, but, so the next step is set up the select board. Yeah, that was it for the webpage, and those are the three things I saw.
I'll look at the webpage.
Next item, on the Lakeville State Hospital redevelopment plan, Rhino Capital Advisors feedback given. Based on our last meeting, I took those inputs and I sent an email to Tracy, asked her how do we give that to Rhino, and she said she would forward them. So it was everything that's in the meeting minutes about the extra parking for the walking trails to be really useful to the community. It was the main thing. There was some, I put in there. So the big thing was the trail, the public parking available for the walking trails, benefit to the community. A plan for trail maintenance needs to be defined and documented to prevent loss of the trails over time. Ensure that native species are used in all tree and shrub plantings. Confirmation that all existing hospital buildings and landfill debris will be completely removed. Confirmation that there is adequate water supply available for the proposed development. So those are the items I got from our meeting from last month, and that's what I forwarded. And that was very time limited. They had said that when they did the presentation, they needed it pretty quick. So I did get that into them through Tracy.
That's cool.
So that's, so we're pretty much done with that for now. New business, discuss any correspondence or announcements, and we did receive the Southeastern Regional Planning and Economic Development District updated draft priority development areas and priority protection areas maps, and it was very, very informative. I think everybody has this, and we already referenced it in this meeting earlier, and I think it's going to be of great use to us. It is draft, but I think it's probably pretty solid, is my guess. Because the 2013, it's overlaid onto the 2013 priorities, both for protection and for development. And
I thought it was interesting, it said they didn't remove anything from the 2013 plan at all,
Wow.
but they added new things. But they didn't take anything away, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we have more priorities now than we had before,
That's
which
okay.
is a
sure.
good thing.
doesn't mean they get
I
saved,
think
but
we
they're
did.
priorities.
Exactly, but they're priorities, exactly, exactly.
So, yeah, that's why we gotta watch them more closely with the list and try and anticipate when, something's gonna happen. And that's by putting these lists together and understanding maps, having the maps available, we have a better
Right.
chance of seeing it. And now with the policy updates that the town has done, I think that'll help notifications as well.
Did you send that around?
Yeah, I didn't,
Via
I was just
email?
gonna
I
say, I
didn't.
You
didn't
didn't
get
get
that.
No, neither did I. Neither did
No.
did
You didn't get it?
That map? No.
Was that when you,
Was it
when
with
you
the
went into the
agenda?
meeting?
No, not the agenda, I sent this out a couple of weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago.
No.
I'll resend it.
What?
You
I got
it. You got it from me.
I got it from you.
Yeah, and I sent it to everybody.
You did?
Except for Brian, I didn't send it.
Yeah, it was everybody was on the list.
Yeah,
Didn't get it.
I
No,
didn't either.
I will
maybe
resend.
it's a nice fan.
Yeah, maybe it all went into our spam boxes or something, because of the size of the
You did send
attachment.
it.
Yeah, I know I did.
Well, thank you, sorry, David.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
you can-
it's a very
Honestly, it
nice
was
map
me.
when you do get it, and some good information in there.
I'll look it over.
I know,
It's pretty interesting.
yeah, I know a lot of the status doesn't really say much.
That's what I like.
Well,
Implementation, no further action
Yeah.
required.
So, as far as making it a priority parcel, I guess. But, yeah, you know, things are changing out there. Of course, we just had the sale on this big block of green down here. We'll have to cover that. So, I will resend that.
Let me say, they didn't take anything out. There were some changes from 2013, but they didn't remove anything, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, it gives you a good feel across town where the priority parcels
Right.
are. And, you know, it's a good place to start and trying to, you know,
Yeah.
really understand where all the properties are.
If we were a billion-dollar town, we'd
Yeah.
have a billion-dollar budget, we could buy them all, but that's probably not gonna happen.
All right, so anyways.
Rocky Woods is a priority here.
Yeah, and, yeah, it's another priority that's.
I'm looking at it, Rocky Woods is a priority,
So the-
well,
two of the
not,
bigger-
not enough.
Two of the bigger parcels are priorities
Exactly.
are gone to developers. I don't know how it works, but hopefully we'll understand more as we get through all this. Anyways, I will.
And it
resend
does
that.
say that the 61 lands are priorities.
Yeah. So we're you know, we're learning a lot here, we're getting organized, so I will resend that out to everybody. I thought everybody had it. So when I resend it out, we read through it, again, it's gonna tie into everything else we're doing, so it'll come up in next month's discussion as well. So definitely, really, it's a really good map. Let's see, what I did forget to put on the agenda that I said in the minutes was the promotional material that Lynn has put together
Yeah.
for the Open Space Committee, with the thought of distributing that at the Lakeville Arts and Craft Festival this weekend. And so,
So that's a wonderful.
It's not really ratty. I mean, I guess I'm learning a lot today, really, about what this committee does. I think that was more of my concern, is like, I didn't know what the committee does, so I thought that.
yeah, it's pretty early, if it's, you know.
The community should know, certain
If
things,
it, you
so.
know, if it needs some minor touch-ups, we can
Oh, I
still
think
get it
it's-
out, or if it needs more than that, we can hold off till another time. You know,
Yeah, I
definitely want
think-
it to be right.
So, so I didn't, a lot of it came from our website, right, from our page. And then, but I didn't put anything under the donated parcels of land, because I didn't really, I mean, I just.
Your name here.
Yeah, well, I did put at the bottom, if you would like to be,
Oh, yeah.
if you'd like to donate. So, yeah, it was just something real quick, but, it's just kind of, I just don't think the town knows about certain, I didn't know, I didn't even know that, I mean, I knew Betty's Neck,
Right.
of course, Ted Williams Park, right, Clear Pond, but, I didn't even know some of these things existed, So it's just, I mean, we don't have to do anything with it this time. I think it's has a lot to.
I have a question. Are we updating the 2012 open space plan?
Was it 2012 or 2013?
Well,
Yeah.
see, this is, I just took it off the
2012.
website.
No, she
That's
took it
why.
off the
Yeah,
website.
yeah, so
and
it
it's
should
that
say, yeah, it
old.
should say 2012.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so see that, so I don't know those things. That's why I
Yeah.
said, you know what, I
And
don't know a lot.
This is really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
This
what
is
you mean
really
it
well done.
It's really
It
nice.
looks nice.
That's why we have to
maybe
update the
should-
website.
We have to do, but I mean,
Yeah,
it's
this is
something
really
else.
nice.
Yeah.
This
but
is really nice. I like this.
I don't think it's ready to,
Yeah,
So
this is
maybe-
nice.
Maybe we should
For
take
public
it back.
consumption.
right, not yet, because
Yeah.
I'm not sure
You
it's
know,
right.
Yeah, well, the committee members take it home, look it over, mark it up, some thoughts, changes, additions.
This is nice. I like
And
this.
then you have some
That's-
ideas,
yeah.
I
It's
mean,
beautiful.
like
I think
green
it-
space, green.
Yeah, and,
Absolutely.
One page, getting people's hands that have interest in it, and,
Right.
it'll open up, hey, maybe we should go check these out. things like that.
Right.
So, I think that's good.
Just
I
like
know-
To make you feel, a little better, so before Mike Schroeder left town, did you ever know Mike Schroeder?
No.
So she was on the Conservation Commission for years, I guess, and then she was on the Open Space Committee. But every time the Lakeville Arts and Music Festival happened, she would put up a table for the Open Space Committee.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
being kind of an educator, she would have, she'd
Yeah.
have plants
Yeah.
out there,
Okay.
and rocks and feathers.
I was at
from
rocks, yeah,
birds, and
exactly.
She did, and she'd stand there and she'd try to do exactly what you're trying to do, which is explain to people what the Open Space Committee and what open space. So
Is, right.
it's a wonderful idea.
Right.
This is a
Like you
great
said,
idea.
maybe not-
This is nice.
Maybe
I don't
not
think
this
it's ready,
year.
yeah.
That's
But,
fine, I
um,
get that.
I did want to add something on educational, but I didn't have enough time
Yep.
for creativity.
But, well, it's a good
But
start.
I
and
like
it's
this.
just it was too short
Yeah,
time
thank
for
you.
this weekend,
Yeah.
so. Yeah, if everybody looks it over and
Any ideas
changes,
or-
additions,
Yeah.
and yeah, the one-page format like this
Oh, yeah.
seems perfect. People will take that with them.
Right.
Anything too big, just enough to get their attention.
And I think everybody wants to know what's in it for me. That's why I put all the health and the, the things over there. But that, I wanted to add education, but I would have lost the map of the pond area, Aswan's Pond. So, and those all came from the website, so because of the rules, I put little, I took them from the website, so I don't even know if they would have a problem with that. I, took that stuff from the website, so.
So donated parcels of land, I'm not sure there's anything to put there, is there?
Well,
I mean-
it's on the website.
There's donated parcels of land on the website. I mean, Biggers
Right.
Conservation was
This is-
donated
Oh,
to the
yeah.
This is
town.
on the open space webpage?
Yeah,
or-
yeah.
This is
That's
why
why I
we have to
stopped.
fix it, yeah,
'Cause I
exactly.
was like, I'm not,
Or
something
what-
about
what-
Highland Street and
Was
right
it
across
actually,
from.
was it in the plan, the 2013?
No,
plan,
it was
or
just
right
on the
page?
webpage, on our page, just on our page.
Well, I think I'll go back and do a fact check.
Yeah.
Like they do at the debates.
Because it was kind of confusing anyway, that's
Yeah.
why it's not on there. It's like, how do
Yeah, it
you
is.
consolidate this, it's just silly, so.
Again, that's not updating our pages on the website would be
Yeah.
a really nice thing for the Open Space Committee to be working on too. But-
And then I didn't want to put anything about the 61A.
Yeah, that was smart,
Because
yeah.
that's tax,
That was
right
smart.
now, that's not a good thing, so,
Brian, how do we come by Dickren Duran Square? How did we come by Dickren Duran Square?
Long time ago.
A long time ago?
But it wasn't donated though, was it?
Was a town park.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably always owned.
So it was already a town park.
Right, I mean, it was a triangle with roads going on either side.
Right.
oh, okay.
Until they moved the church over there.
Well, in the old days, to get a big team of horses or oxen around a curve, you had triangles,
Oh, okay.
and so it was there pretty early on.
Oh, okay, right, yeah, that makes sense. They moved the church there though, from somewhere else, right?
From up the street,
From up the street?
yeah.
That
The
church?
Lakeville United Church of Christ.
Well, yeah, the church got moved from up on,
Precinct, the
Seventy-nine.
precinct in
Road.
Rhode,
Yeah,
precinct
with
in Rhode Island
Right.
Road.
Oh, cool.
The rec-
69?
The church hall is still there, 79, so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Right.
That beautiful yellow house
Right,
was attached to the church.
yes, it's still there.
Mm.
Yeah, they moved that church
Oh,
on
that
logs.
house. They just
The yellow
painted it.
house?
Oh my God, I love that house.
That was attached to the
I do too.
church.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's where the church was.
I didn't know that, yeah. We just painted it too.
Yeah, they sold it too a couple of years ago. I was afraid.
So yeah, that's not ready for
Well,
distribution, but just
And
anybody.
it's a real good start
ideas.
though, I think
Okay.
it's basically
Okay.
there. That's impressive. So thank you. All right, so we'll regroup on this next month and we'll roll it out at the next possible
Sure.
time.
Yeah.
We'll figure out wherever that is. We'll get the package together.
I like this.
I mean, maybe the back page could be better too, I don't know.
It's all right. Fine, this is more than than we had before. It's awesome.
Agenda items for the next meeting. Obviously, we're going to carry on everything that was left open today, including
Right.
the informational brochure here. And I will make sure to have it as an agenda item this time. But any other new business that needs to be added to the agenda for next meeting? We've got a lot going on here already.
I know. you think you can find out why? Like if we can go back to receiving at least notification, even if they don't want to give us a full set of plans for
And that
these
was-
developments?
That was from the planning board or the zoning board or both?
I think you have to go in front of the planning board and the zoning board, probably almost simultaneously, if you've
Well,
taken a piece of property and you're gonna
Yeah.
change the use it's been in.
Okay, I'll put it on as a discussion item, and I'll talk to Tracy,
Yeah.
and get some, direction from her.
Everybody goes to Tracy. for
Well, you know.
everything. I don't know how
She's
she-
the front
answer
line.
person.
I don't know
She's the
how she
front line,
handles
yeah.
it. Yeah.
It's for, and that's maps of, developments or,
So, for instance, on Route, is that 18? I'm so bad with street names. Do you know where the ugly little greenhouse was that obviously was somebody's loved home? And now they,
It's Bedford Street,
That
it's
was Bill
Bedford
Mann's
Street, yeah.
house.
that was who?
Bill Mann's house.
Did he pass away?
I believe he did. He was a maintenance man at the high school.
Oh, wow.
And all that, where they're putting that street in, or whatever they're doing.
Well, whatever they're doing. So whatever they're doing, the Open Space Committee, if you get plans, you actually find out what they're doing. But they have a plan for 18 houses with 1.75 acres, or they're putting in, you know, what's that, you know, a housing where everybody's closer, but they're, you know, saving the land around it, and whether there's wetlands over there, and it just gives us a better grasp of how
So-
fast things are going.
so they would give us those plans on what, bigger developments or any developments or?
Well, if somebody's trying to put a shed up next to their house, they're not gonna give us those.
So
It's
they-
usually more like,
It would be nice to be in the loop
yeah, it's more like
if the development's going
when
in.
significant changes, you know, are gonna happen to a,
Yeah, that
To
property,
the
they put in a
town.
road, I mean, I don't know. I know, there
I
I
probably
mean, it's
several-
just, I mean, not like
Yeah.
we can do anything about it or anything else,
Right.
but it keeps us
In the loop.
in the loop, and
Really.
sometimes they move wetlands. They get a Board of Appeals kind of thing, and they're like, well, we gotta fill it in because we have to put in a septic system.
And you're
but
supposed to
we're gonna go-"
replicate it somewhere else.
Right, stuff like this, just so that they know we're paying attention. I mean, because
Yeah, I'll see what I can find out.
it could also be one of those pieces where it's, you know, it butts up against something we were hoping to save, or gives you more of an idea of maybe if you did want to buy a piece of it, you'd know which piece you'd want to ask for. Or if we don't know, because we don't see any of it. It seems like a lot, huh?
Well, I can ask. We'll start the conversation.
Yeah.
And, you know, if they were doing it before.
They were doing it
and-
before.
And I will bring that up.
Like, I mean, you know, and I was newer then on the committee, and I was
We
like,
always
wow, look at
had,
that.
we had lots of plans
Yeah,
before.
Adam would
So
come and
how
he'd be
long
like,
has it been
okay.
since they?
Well, I don't remember Amy ever being given,
We
coming in
haven't had
with
very
plans.
many.
No.
So, a couple of years ago anyways.
Well, yeah. You know, and maybe it's just an oversight, or like, you know,
Maybe.
Yeah.
things have changed dramatically in the last 2 years, though. The amount of development that's going on has picked up pace quite
Good.
significantly.
All right. Start the conversation, see if we can get some more information
Yeah.
coming through.
I mean, just ask. That's what I'm like, why isn't David coming in with these things anymore?
Yeah, I know, Amy said she would get emails and stuff, and I got the spread thing, but I haven't gotten any other plans of
Right.
development. So we had the invitation for the Lakeville Hospital
Right, yeah.
presentation.
Oh, yeah, oh,
So
yeah.
a couple things have
No,
come
I
through.
hear
It's only
you.
been a couple
No,
months.
yeah,
and
no,
everything.
yeah, no,
So
yeah.
maybe they're still doing it, but nothing is.
Or maybe they're doing it
come up.
differently. Well, things have changed too in town, though. I mean, we had a town planner, now we don't have a town
Right.
planner, now we're looking for a town.
Maybe
I
that's
mean,
what it was, yeah.
you know, there's a lot of changes been, a lot of staff changes too. So,
Yeah, we got an interim town administrator.
right, exactly.
Hey, anything else for the agenda for next time? I think we're gonna. All right, so the next meeting would be first Thursday in November is November 7th, and 6 PM here at the Lakeville Senior Center. And I don't think anything happens with the holidays coming up. We would still have a December and January meeting. They're not right on the holidays, but so we get a quorum, I don't know. we will plan on those. But anyways, the next one's November 7th. Anything else we need to discuss before I call for adjournment?
Just a little
Yep.
suggestion, if we all have a little bit of time at some point, to just look at our website and see if, does it have enough information? Is there redundant information? Something that's out of date? What else would you like to see on it?
Yeah, I know I looked at it.
I think that's a good
again,
idea.
I may as well take another look. I know from the historical standpoint,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
John, you've
historical
been through
standpoint, Grant?
Well, I'm not a computer person.
Yeah.
You tell
So
me.
you Print the page, yeah.
We'll talk about it Saturday.
Okay.
We'll be sitting there for a long time.
Just 6 hours.
Aw.
But yeah, everybody can look it over. I know I've looked at it a bit, and I've given some inputs, and I don't know what else I can say, but I can take another look. Anything else? All right, do I have a motion to
I'll
adjourn?
make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Second.
All right, this meeting is adjourned.